Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards and I'm back today with week 41 in my 2024 Project Life album. For this particular week, I am using one of our new stamp sets as a jumping off point. We just had a small release of a couple different stamp sets. This one that I am going to be using today, I find is great for titles and subheads, especially in Project Life. So for this spread, I'm going to be making my own journal cards. You can see right there, I am cutting up white cardstock and I am cutting it to the 3x4 pocket size. I also had pulled out a pattern paper from a previous kit. Actually, that might be from December Daily this year, those labels. And I was kind of thinking about using those, but I don't end up using them. So what I did decide to do, though, is I decided to actually keep all of the titles with our Willamette green color. I feel like I've done stamp titles in the past where I have varied the color or picked colors from the spread. This time I decided to do it all using the green color, and I actually really like how it turned out. You'll see that I will be making a title card as well. The other thing that I did on this one that's a little bit different from sometimes when I create cards for stamping is that I varied the titles. So one of the things I love about this particular stamp set is that you could pick LOL and use that for every title. You could pick the story, or you could pick here for this. Any of these titles could be repeated on each one of the journaling cards, or you can mix them up and still have that cohesive look because all of the titles are in the same font and have the same width. So the titles have been made bigger or smaller in order to get them all to the same exact width. And then we have the cute little subheads below that you can add on there, and I did those in black. Right now what I'm doing is I'm actually stamping on a title card. This was one that I had done, and then I think I wanted to change the subhead, so I had already stamped the story on it. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just creating a pattern using the story stamp, and then I will be adding on the date with my rolling date stamp and sticking it underneath the for week 41 transparency that I created previously. I'm also going to be using another one of the stamp sets that we released last week or this week, which is the Borders stamp, and you'll see how I use that in just a minute here. But I really liked using all one color. That feels like something that I would like to do again. It was just a fun way to create cohesion, and also a fun way to get to eliminate some choice, right? And that can be a great jumping off point for our creativity when we eliminate some of the extra choices. Now I'm using my rolling date stamp. I'm going to stamp the date on there, making sure that it's 2024 and not 2025. Sometimes it can be easy to get messed up with those date stamps this time of year, or any time for me when I'm going back in time. I have to be really cautious and intentional. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slip that back in the pocket. I will pull it out one more time though, because I do want to add on the border. So this is from the 4x6 Borders stamp. I love this stamp because it's great for adding onto journal cards. You could make lines on your journal cards using this stamp set. You could also just do what I'm doing right here, which is creating a little bit of separation between the title and subhead and the journaling that I'm going to add on there in a little bit. I am also going to be using that same border stamp, which this is a small dot, I believe, unless it's a small plus sign. I think it's a small dot, though I can't see it on my computer very good right now. And I'm using our Columbia ink as that secondary color. You could obviously use black. You could use the same color again. You could pick a different color. You could use that same green. Lots of options. But I like how that is consistent with the ways I'm using the title cards. For embellishments on top of my photos this time, I decided to use these circles that were part of the Fun Storyteller Kit. They include Not So Fun, Giving Thanks for Fun, Kind of Fun, and Seriously So Fun. So it was after I looked at the photos and then looked at things that were in my stash and things that I wanted to use, which included these circles from the Storyteller Kit, I felt like this was a good one to add on there, because this week has the story about the snake that one of our cats brought in, and then how one of Katie's kids was drawing pictures of snakes that day. So we've got the not so fun, or so not fun, and then other fun things that have been happening at this time of the year, which is back in October, homecoming, and lots of volleyball per usual in the fall here. So I'm stapling each one of those circles on. The first three I did had them going off either the top or the bottom edge, and this last one, the Kind of Fun one, I'm actually going to staple that in the middle. Kind of Fun is for taking Anna to a private volleyball lesson and sitting outside and waiting. It's definitely fun, but you know, I guess it's kind of fun to wait. So adding those on as my embellishments, again, keeping it simple, following a formula. I am going to add on a couple of these little banners here. These were from a past One Little Word mini kit, I believe. I'm just going to hand write directly on those and then adhere them onto the pictures just to give a little bit more context to those particular pictures. One of the things that I am not worried about and that I've kind of let go of a little bit is feeling like I had to have a story for every single picture that I put in here. And I feel like I've thought about that a lot. I don't know if I've actually said it out loud. You may have just noticed that as you've been watching me doing these. Like in this case, the 3 photos on the second side each one of those will have a little story with them. Obviously, you've got, 3 journal cards to go with the 3 photos. But on the first page, I just have 1 photo, one journaling card. So I'll be using that one to write a little bit about the snake. The other one, the homecoming picture the picture of the girls during one of the spirit days at homecoming week, I didn't feel like I needed to have a full story for that. So going ahead and adding in my journaling, I'm using a micron pen for these. This is, I believe, a 0.05, which is a pretty standard pen tip. I often like the 0.03 or 0.01 better. They're even more fine, but the 0.5 is the one that I had the easiest access to. So this is another place where you could add sticker paper on here. You could actually set these up on your computer, add your typed journaling, and then come back in and add the stamps. For me, for this particular project, I love the opportunity to just get in there and handwrite some reflections, especially when I'm looking back in time. These are from a few months ago, so just being able to add in what my memories from this particular point in time, I will also be going in and underline those. So that's my task right now, is just getting those cards filled in until I get to the bottom with my particular stories. All right, and then after I got all of the journaling finished, I decided that I wanted to add one more embellishment onto the photos where I was adding those circles from the Storyteller kit. So I'm going to be using some Chipboard Asterisks from my stash. You could use chipboard, or you could use asterisk stickers, any sort of small little embellishment. That's what I was looking for. I just wanted one more thing to add on to these, and so I had a random assortment of some of the Chipboard Asterisks that we've offered in the past and just pulled out a couple of different colors on there. I also liked how it brought in some of the other colors, or the opportunity to bring in some other colors, a few other little things potentially from the photos, that sort of thing. I had a bunch of white ones too, so I could have done all white, but I grabbed some that were part of the photo. All right, loved using stamps for this. This is just also a great reminder, even if you don't have this particular stamp set, that if you have purchased from our company in the past, it's likely that you may have some stamps that could be used to fill in a week in project life, whether you are going back in time or you are working on present day storytelling. As always, let me know if you guys have questions in the comments below, and we'll see you back here soon for another video.